facebook.com/onenewsph. Okay, it's today is January 11, 2021. Baka sumusulat po kayo ng cheque. Nako po, sayang yung cheque. 20 pesos yata ang isa niyan pag nagkamali kayo. In any case, do take care of the dates that you put in, and it's a Monday, so in case medyo nasanay na kayong nakahiga na lang, nakahilata, might be a good idea to get up because I've heard that there are people who've just basically surrendered themselves to the COVID chic. Hindi na nag-aahit, hindi na nagbibihis. Kumbaga, wala naman tayong paruroonan. Wala tayong pupuntahan, walang appointment. Okay na ito. Kami po, we still get up, we still put our clothes on, we still dress up. I actually remember my father-in-law who, when he retired, he would still get up on the same time every morning. He'd have breakfast. He would shave. He would put on, nice clothes. And I kind of wondered, why would he do that if he's already retired? It's a lifelong habit, and it always looks good to be dressed for the day, okay? Hindi naman kailangan magbibihis kayo ng spooting, sabi nga ng mga matatanda, katulad ni Kuya Cito, pero it's always good to be dressed properly for the day, whatever you're doing. Okay, in any case, today we are going to be on a new schedule. Agenda will no longer be 1.5 hours. We're going back to our original 1-hour program, which means that we will have just slightly fewer interviews, a shorter program, but we still hope to get the best information. Having said that, let's now move to the front page of the Philippine Star to get things rolling. Okay, front page of the Philippine Star, the National Bureau of Investigation has summoned 11 persons of interest in the death of flight attendant Christine Dacera. According to NBI Officer in Charge Eric Distor, this includes Dacera's friends who were last seen with her during a party in a hotel in Makati. Okay, so far consistently ata 3 or 5 of the 11 have regularly made themselves available to the authorities as well as the media. Yung 6 na lang ang kumbaga remains to be seen. And we will find out whether those people will show up given hindi pa nga na-imbestiga kung ano-ano ng mga haka-haka ang lumalabas or details. In any case, the Senate is starting its probe of the government vaccination plan today. What plan, I ask? The Senate Committee of the Whole aims to get a comprehensive inoculation plan from administration officials as other countries have rolled out their vaccination programs already. Okay? Yung Singapore po, yung Prime Minister nagpaturok na, yung Indonesia, meron na raw pong vaccine. Di ko lang alam kung yung Thailand na parang ating kakambal sa itsura at kultura, ewan ko kung meron na sila. I'd like to find out if any of you do know, let us know. But that's the irony, okay? Kailangan pang imbestigahan, kailangan pang alamin. That's how slow and unprofessional as the DOH is as far as our vaccine program is concerned. Tapos sasabihin pa na, nag-iingat lang kami. Naku po, yung pag-iingat nyo, araw-araw may namamatay. From vaccines, let's move to tests as the Philippine Red Cross pilots 1,000 saliva tests starting today. Doon po sa hindi nakakaintindi o hindi alam, yung saliva test is you will get yung laway nyo, tapos gagawin, ilalagay yan sa bayal. Pagkatapos ilagay sa bayal, ay saka naman lalagay sa test kit at malalaman ninyo. Magkakaalaman tayo kung ma-approve yan. Kasi even if the test passes with the Red Cross, the question is, and I wrote about it in my column today, obsolete before ROI, kasi pag na-approve po yung saliva test, ang haka-haka, sabi-sabi, mga 450 to 500 pesos yung test. Paano na yung mga RT-PCR na ginastusan natin ng milyon-milyon, at kung lalahatin, if we do the total sum of investment on these RT-PCR laboratories all over the country, we've spent billions. And we haven't, the government hasn't gotten their ROI, or return on investment. So kumbaga hindi naman baliwala, masasawala na yon eventually. But that's the price of progress. That's the price of technology. That's the price of protecting the public. So we will find out whether or not, if the saliva test pass. Basahin niyo po sa column ko sa Cito in the opinion section of the Philippine Star. Okay. Following the death of Danny Lim, of the chairman of the MMDA, former Mandaluyong Mayor Benjamin Abalos Jr. has been named new chairman of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA. And the Philippines has the worst traffic in among Southeast Asian nations and 9th worst in the world, according to a recent report covering 81 countries. Ang magiging problema po niyan, sisisihin yung driver at marami ng sasakyan. Kasi naman, kung gumawa po sana tayo ng mas maraming kalsada, katulad ng ginawa ng San Miguel Corporation na tinuloy-tuloy na yung Skyway papuntang norte, kung gumawa, pinayagan na lang sana ng gobyerno na magtayo ng EDSA, second level EDSA, yung ibang mga nagsasuggest, baka may nangyari na po sana sa atin. So, yan po, pasensya na kayo. Sipunin si Kuya ngayon kasi malamig doon sa Lipa. Nag-21 degrees doon. Okay, Gabriel, my beloved executive producer. Okay, pasok na raw natin si Congressman Rufus Rodriguez. Listen to this interview because Congressman Rufus Rodriguez has filed several bills, a couple of bills. One is for private companies to be allowed to import their own vaccines, and another one to declare all of those importations tax-free, VAT-free, but not free. Okay? Kumbaga yung buwis lang ang alisin. Doon ka magtataka, no? Marami nang namamatay, kailangan yung bakuna. Ayun, wala pa rin tigil yung buwis. Let's go to Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, comrade, commissioner, congressman, best friend.
That's correct. Happy New Year to my best friend, Comrade Cito. Happy New Year to you and your family and to our viewers.
Okay, well, as always, you are on the ball. You are on top of the situation. And I don't know if you're the only one, but at least you have taken the initiative to file a bill to remove the taxes on vaccines and then allow private companies, companies lang ba o pati ba individuals to import the vaccine? Kasi yun na nga yung problema namin, Congressman, and I'm sincere about this. I'm afraid that when the vaccines roll out, labo-labo, mangyayari KKB, kanya-kanyang bili, kanya-kanyang bakuna.
Okay, I filed first House Resolution number 1453. Now, this will allow the private sector, whether individuals or companies, to be able to import from other countries itong mga vaccine for their workers and the families of their workers. So yun ang focus nito. Private sector employees will all be the companies or the individuals having workers will be able to import, but following the rules of the FDA on who have been, sino yung na-accredit na vaccine, at saka of course with the fast approval of the IETF and DOH. Now, because a resolution cannot exempt importation by just resolution, it has to be by law. It should be approved by the House and the Senate. I filed a companion measure, House Bill 8301, that will declare that importations of these vaccines by the private sector shall be free from customs duties, value-added taxes and excise tax, so that we can bring them in and then be able for the companies to be able to buy them and give to their employees. And because of that, work will start really 100%, and we will have our economy going because our businesses are already operational.
Okay, I mean, that's all praiseworthy on your part, Congressman. But how real is all of this going to be? Because, in spite of the fact that we have a law against red tape, the IATF has become the biggest red tape in the country. Kasi, I mean, not to insult the IATF. I know that they're doing their job, they're just being careful. Pero marami nang nagsabi sa akin nga na between the DOH and the IATF, wala ka nang magawa. Maghihintay ka ng matagal and people are dying. I mean, I don't want to be an alarmist, but if it's your relative who gets sick, who die, and in the last couple of weeks, we've lost a number of friends common to you and me.
Yeah, that's correct. Well, the procedure as found in our resolution is very fast. Well, first, the FDA will have to give immediately the permit to import, because the FDA will now have a list of vaccines produced by Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, and others who have been declared by the FDA as allowable for emergency use. So that is very fast. Once you are in the list, then walang problema, FDA will have to give that particular permit. Second, on the qualifications of these employees, then you have to show the employees will have to apply to DOH and IATF, one, that they are a company, they are employees, how many employees, and so that is easily be able to, that data can easily be checked by the IATF and the DOH, and therefore they will give the importation the permit to import. Now, it is clear in my bill that these companies will not be selling them, will not be distributing them. That is why they're tax-free. They will be using them, Cito, for only exclusively for their employees and the families of the employees.
Okay, now regarding that, because parang ang impression namin na kailangan daw hospital o merong parang arrangement with the medical facility or whatever na sila yung magba-vaccinate. Parang sabi ko, eto na naman tayo,
Yes.
kwakwartahan na naman.
Yes, wala na yon. In my resolution, wala na yung ganon. Because when the companies, the private sector would import, it will be their obligation to assure. Because we are not talking now of their employees. They would not want their employees to be vaccinated improperly. So therefore, these companies, these are big ones. The NGCP has already announced that they are the first one to say that allow us to import, the private sector. And then the MVP group, the San Miguel group, all of them would wish that they will be allowed a fast permit to import tax-free, so that they can now give the vaccines to their employees, so that they will have their operations 100%, because the employees are now have the vaccine already.
Okay,
so it will not happen. That it will have, requirements on how to vaccinate. You go to hospital. Wala na yan, Sito. It will be the responsibility of the company. After all, they are looking at the welfare of their employees, Sito.
Okay, now you mentioned earlier a list of those vaccines.
Yes.
Yes, last night actually may napanood ako newscast, Channel 7 yata yun. Napanood ko yung newscast nila. And nabanggit doon that the DOH has entered into a purchase agreement with a Chinese vaccine manufacturer. From what I recall, hindi pa sila na-approvean dito. May kontrata na tayo sa kanila. Paano yung mga setup na ganyan regarding, whether it was FDA approved? Kasi parang right now when I listen to the FDA, when I read the news, parang depende on who's talking, hindi mo masabi kung ano ba ito, pinayagan ba ito, papayagan, legal ba ito, etc.
Well, the FDA has been very clear that there should be no importation, there should be no vaccination without approval of the vaccine by the FDA. And that is why the FDA is also investigating this violation together with the NBI. because
Okay.
there have been Chinese vaccines that have been used, especially for the PSG. And so therefore, that is totally, to me, illegal. Because
Mm.
how can we, implement something in our country that assures the safety of everyone if it will not pass through FDA, the IATF, and the vaccine czar? So that is really something that's why it's now under investigation. But the point now is that precisely the signing of the government means that this will be that will be used by the government to give to those, according to the government, yung una are the medical frontliners, and then the
Mm.
second barangay frontliners, and then the seniors, no? So, but that agreement with the Chinese vaccine is without prejudice to the private sector if we will allow them to choose precisely as long as they're in the list, Cito, of FDA approved vaccines. And that is why the government can go through. It's something for the government, that is their choice. Our money, Cito, for this year
Yeah.
under 2021 budget is 72 billion. Now,
Oh.
how much can it reach vis-a-vis our population? Only 30%. And that is why you have to allow the private sector so that, according to the WHO, the World Health Organization, to get herd immunity, there should be 60 to 70% of the population already vaccinated. So we are way far down that particular requirement. So the 72 billion is not sufficient. Let us have the private sector come in with their own money and be able to get more vaccinated, especially the workers of this private sector.
Congressman, I don't know. Will you even bother to investigate the DOH? Kasi they're now going to be investigated or interviewed by the Senate regarding their vaccination plan. But now, as I listen to you, I'm shocked because nung nagsasalita noon yung mga tiga DOH at Malacanang, they were saying that we will cover 70% of the population. This money will cover everything. But according to you, it will only cover 30% of the
Yes.
population. Kami, mas galante pa pala kami dito sa team agenda. We
Oh.
estimated that 72 billion will cover 50%. How long before we even have vaccination in this country?
Well, precisely, we need to have more budget. Now, precisely, when we allow the private sector to be able to import and give to the employees, that is also a big percentage of our
Yeah.
population that
Yeah.
are vaccinated. Secondly, I have filed last Friday another resolution allowing, wag na yung masyadong red tape, allowing LGUs naman. There are LGUs that would have the funds to be able to take care immediately of all their residents. For example, Makati has 1 billion already that can cover a lot of the Makati residents, including by Mayor Binay. Mayor Belmonte, Joy Belmonte, has also initially 1 billion for Quezon City. So is Manila, so is Pasig. Many LGUs which have the funds can now be able to use it. Now, this red tape of getting so much approval from so forth. In my bill, it was streamlined. This is a local government unit, this is government. So no need even for a law to make them tax-free because local government units are tax-free.
Ayun, okay.
So therefore, allow them make a fast approval of the request for a permit because they have to go to the government. And then this will add on to the 72 billion, Cito. So therefore, there's a lot of money from the LGU and the private sector to help the national government's budget of 72 billion.
Okay, we'll go for a quick break, Congressman Rufus, and when we come back, I want to ask you about yung private sector initiative or people who just basically are saying now, kaya namin bayaran yung bakuna namin, ilabas nyo lang yung vaccine. Anyway, we'll go for a quick break, Congressman.
Thank you very much.
Just a minute, stay there.
Yeah.
Okay, you're back here on Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran, your host. Let's go back to Congressman Rufus Rodriguez. Kong Rufus, you're in Cagayan de Oro, I presume? Okay, Kong?
I have Cito probably. Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you. I don't know what's happening there. Let's check. Maybe you're on mute, Congressman?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's garbled. I cannot hear you. Cito, it's garbled. It's not clear.
Okay, it's supposed to be the same right now. Okay, well, we'll go for a break and we'll try. Well, not a break. We'll just try to do some technical correction there if possible. Anyway, yung po no, yung ginagawa ni Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, napakaganda kasi walang gustong umamin. Pero lahat nagsasabi na kulang yung pera para sa vaccine. No one in government wants to admit that the 72 or 82 billion pesos that they have somehow managed to put together is not enough. In fact, there is already an argument regarding the number of people that 82 billion can cover, because some say it will cover 50%. The government says it will cover 70%. Congressman Rufus thinks it will only cover 30%. And several congressmen and women who've come to the program or who've joined the program have said na nakukukulangin yung pera na yan. Now, here's the thing. So Congressman Rufus Rodriguez has come up with this bill, and as far as he's concerned, ang pinakababilis na solution, which is already becoming apparent, is that private sector be allowed to buy their own vaccines, which is what Joey Concepcion has done, led a group of businessmen to buy vaccines. And then there is this push from the local government, which the president himself has approved or agreed to. I don't know what the official position is to allow local governments to buy their own vaccines. So kumbaga mapapabilis. Congressman Rufus, let's see if you're okay, you can hear me already.
Yes, very well.
Okay, now, so how soon do you think can this law be fast-tracked? Kasi talagang nakakahiya na yung situation natin, Kong. Nag-i-injection na sa Singapore, nag-i-injection na sa Thailand.
Correct.
Europe, covered na lahat.
Yes, we are going to resume session by the Congress on Monday, January 18. So hopefully, this measure being very, very, very much necessary to assure us that we are able to get the vaccines early. Baka maubusan pa tayo sito because the matter is not limitless naman yung production ng mga pharmaceutical companies. So we hope that there should be action on these bills and the resolution when we resume on Monday. I will personally request the speaker, and I'm sure the speaker will be happy to support this because this is needed by everyone. The private sector needs this fast, and so there will be no more red tape for them to import, and they will be tax-free because that will be by law. Even if they will do it now, you cannot do it by executive agreement. Any tax exemption, non-payment of import duties, value-added tax, and also the excise tax will have to pass through Congress. And so there's no other way there. So there can be no fast importation from the private sector if there is no approval of my bill, House Bill 8301, that will make the importation tax-free.
So tax-free yan on all levels,
Yes.
imports and duties, VAT,
Value-added. Yes, and excise tax.
excise tax. So
all kinds of duties, will be tax-free because it is the need of the day. It is needed by the population, by our country, that we are already vaccinated so that we can continue with our normal way of life.
maraming ang umaangal sa aking negosyante, Congressman. They're saying na, Sito, kahit buksan mo pa lahat ng koral, pag hindi mo pinalabas ang mga senior citizen na may pera nang nakatabi to spend, at yung mga bata
Yeah.
na yun naman ang ginagastusan ng senior citizen, our economy will not move, not our consumer-based economy, not market, nothing will move. So, yun nga. But let me ask you an important question that no one seems to address in this country, the issue of liability.
Yeah.
Kasi, you know, when we import those vaccines, the presumption is regularity. Na we
Mm.
got from a good supplier, we handled it safely, and then we will inoculate properly. But what about liability on the part of the private sector? Kasi dumiretso ka na, ikaw na ang nagturok, ikaw na ang nagpaturok. Pag paano kung biglang merong problema? Kasi this is from personal
Yeah.
experience. One of my apo-apuhan nagpa-vaccinate a couple of years, about 4 years ago, nagpa-vaccinate sa school. Within 24 hours, she was paralyzed. So, you know, this is what those 1 in a million
Mm.
stuff. What happens if your employee suddenly has an adverse reaction? Are we going to give liability protection from liability for employers or private sector?
Well, there's always a civil liability, Cito, because under our law there is a law on tort and quasi-delict. If they do this negligently, and there will
Hmm.
be because of negligence, there will be casualties because of the vaccination with the public sector. They'll be liable civilly, but there will be no criminal liability because there is no
Mhm.
crime yet. There is no law, the law that has made this a particular crime. So under the principle and criminal law of nullum pena, nullum crimen sine lege, there's no law prohibiting an act clearly and giving a penalty. There is no criminal liability. So there,
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not minded to file a bill that will make them criminal. They're trying to do their best. They
Yeah.
are presumed to be doing this for their company, for their for workers and the families of their workers. And so we can presume that they are doing this in the best interest. But if they are negligent, then there will be a civil liability, but no criminal liability because there's no law yet against
Mm.
the vaccination improperly done by the private sector.
Okay, what about waivers and termination for refusal to be vaccinated? Kasi pinag-uusapan na
Mm.
ngayon yan, Kong, no?
Yeah, yeah.
Some people are saying, ano yan, papipirmahin ba natin yung mga empleyado natin para sasabihin nilang, kung may mangyari sa akin, walang sabit yung aking kumpanya. And then also, you know, so first the waivers, and then yung mga ayaw magpa-vaccinate. Naku, kasi po may kilala ako, congressman, Amerika pa.
Huh?
Nurse siya, male
Ayaw.
nurse. Hindi nagpa-vaccinate. Sabi niya, I'm not sure about this. I'm gonna wait until the second batch. Oh, within 2 weeks, he got hit by COVID. Muntik-muntikana na siya. Uh,
Delikado.
Situation like this.
Well, on the issue of waivers, the Supreme Court has already ruled that in certain cases, waivers will not even be implemented. In this particular case, even pa-waiver yung mga private sector, if indeed there is negligence, gross negligence, they'll be liable. So even if the employees will sign a waiver, it will not. It will be set aside by the courts if clearly, this is a situation where, the workers are in fact forced to get a vaccine because ang ano diyan kung wala siyang vaccine, he continue working? So if he does not work, he does not have any pay. So that's one. No, waivers can be by public policy. Waivers may not be implemented by the courts. No. Secondly, yung mga ayaw vaccinate, I think they have a right. The right to life and the right of a person on his own decision is with him. So if he will not want to be vaccinated, well, he will be set aside first, and he will not work because he will be joining a group that he has not been vaccinated on. And so those are my views on this particular
Okay.
problems, Cito. Yes.
Okay, sige, I'm now consulting you as a lawyer. But, kasi paano naman yon? Ayaw magpabakuna. And then,
Ayaw.
sige, we respect you, we respect your
Yeah.
views. Wala kang vaccine. Pero na-COVID ka, huwag kang pupunta sa amin. Huwag kang hihingi sa amin ng assistance, etc. Kasi ikaw ang ayaw magpagamot. Pwede ba yon?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the effect. The effect is you're on your own. The company has already offered to give you the vaccine. You have refused. And so therefore, you're going to take the consequences of your own actions. And so if so it depends on the company whether to help an employee who refused to be vaccinated and
Mm.
would contract this COVID-19. So that it depends on the company. But surely the company will not be bound anymore because here we are. Here are the vaccines, and he refused to receive it. So
Yeah.
therefore, it is his own lookout now.
But can it be grounds to well, hindi naman terminate, but
No, I
to,
cannot terminate.
parang, sorry, ayaw mong magpa-vaccinate, eh, ayaw ka namin. Hindi ka namin pwedeng kuning empleyado because you are a risk to yourself.
That will
Kasi
not
hindi
be
ko, pero mga
termination.
oh, no, but there are HMOs, there are insurance, etc. Baka, sasabihin naman ng insurance company, may bakuna, ayaw magpabakuna, hindi namin i-cover yan. So, ngayon, may ipit na naman yung employer.
Yeah, complicated talaga yan if an employer will refuse. But the point is that if he will refuse, he cannot be terminated because this is a choice. But at the same time, he will be on leave, he will be on work without pay because he refused, and the company has the right not to bring him in because he is not vaccinated. And so therefore, well, that is the effect. Now, this particular situation will be HMO. Well, in that particular case, yeah, it might be a ground precisely for HMO to be able not
To refuse.
refuse to pay because
Yeah.
it is your lookout. So it's better, we suggest, that the FDA has already approved this list. The company is buying a list approved by FDA. Now, what else would you want to be sure of? The government has made sure that this is safe based on the FDA findings, our own government entity in charge with this. And so that is the effect of this, Cito.
Okay, well, I'm hoping that your bills will actually really fast track everything kasi mangyayari nga KKB na tayo. Pero one last question, Congressman. How do you see the vaccination program and the right to refuse affecting PhilHealth coverage? Kasi kumbaga the state also has the right to, ewan ko, hindi ako congressman pero parang sa akin, hello, may bakuna, ayaw mo magpabakuna, tapos pipila ka sa PhilHealth para mabigyan ka ng COVID package, etc. Oops,
To me,
Congressman. Oh, yes, Congressman.
iba yun sa PhilHealth. PhilHealth is always obligated. It's a government agency. I believe that even if there's a refusal of a member of PhilHealth, PhilHealth should still assist because somehow our body, it is us, it is the person concerned who thinks about his own welfare. Now, he does not want to be vaccinated. He gets sick, a PhilHealth member. I think we're still duty bound by PhilHealth to really help because it's a government entity which is mandated to help all of its members.
I have a funny feeling a law is going to come out.
Yeah, but they're all still, laws will be required to clearly define where there is liability, where there is none.
Okay, well, Congressman, thank you. As always, it's so pleasant, informative, and a pleasure to speak with you. Please, I'm really believing 2021 is going to be our year, the year we take off. And stay safe, stay healthy, and stay strong.
You too. Thank you very much for the interview, Congressito. The best for the new year. Thank you very much. Daghang salamat. Mayong buntag.
Okay, God bless you. Okay, yan po si Congressman Rufus Rodriguez. Good news, if the bill, if his House bill passes, pwede nang bumili, private companies can import their own vaccines, and this will, a twin bill, a companion bill would be that it would all be tax-free at all levels. So, ayan na po. We'll go for a break, and when we come back, puntahan na natin yung ating susunod na interview with Doc Anthony Tony Leachon, health advocate, here on Agenda. Okay, the time is 8:36 in the morning, and for those of you who will be catching us on the replay, we hope that you are having a good day or had a good day. In any case, right now, for those watching live, it's 8:36. In any case, let's go on to our next guest, and let's talk to him about vaccines, about this new, kasi meron pong lumabas eh. May lumabas na bagong Covovax. Galing daw India, vaccine from India. So, ang dami na eh. Merong China, may India, ngayon meron pang Russia, merong America, may Inglaterra, etc. Let's go to our health advocate and also a cardiologist by profession, Dr. Anthony Leachon. Dr. Tony, good morning.
Morning. Good morning, Cito.
Okay, pag-usapan natin itong mga vaccine and coronavirus. Ikaw, marami ka namang connection, marami kang contacts. What's the forecast or what is the sentiment regarding this new COVID variant? Kasi ang dami sa probinsya nagtatanong ano ba talaga yung bakit pinagkakaguluhan sa Manila yung bago raw na COVID-19?
Well, pinagkaguluhan to because of the announcement of United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson about 2 weeks ago. Na it started in September 20, 2020 na nag-start ito in Southeast England na 62% of their admissions secondary to the new strain. Ang pangalan ng new strain is B117. And medyo peculiar siya kasi it's common among children and young adults. 70% transmissible or contagious, pero hindi siya lethal or virulent. Kaya lang when it affects patients because of the increased cases, it can still lead to hospitalization and overwhelm the healthcare system, and it may lead to death. So, kumbaga ito yung mensahe niyan eh. Sabi nila, hindi siya matapang, pero problema kung marami ang cases, it can still overwhelm the healthcare system. Ngayon, kumalap na to sa buong Europa kasi nag-border measure control na sila sa Canada, sa US, and sa ating bansa, more than 20 countries na ang ating nagkaroon ng border measure. Ngayon, pumutok ito last week nung nagkaroon ng isang 30-year-old female na domestic helper na negative sila na bago sumakay sa papuntang Hong Kong, and then after 60 on quarantine, nag-positive siya. And then ngayon, it brings us to a point na baka meron na rin dito sa atin sa Pilipinas na hindi rin natin lang nadadiagnose. And then pina-check naman sa Philippine Genome Surveillance dito sa RITM, sa NIH, wala pa. So what we're doing right now is to contact trace itong domestic helper, I think dun sa mga nakasama niya sa bahay, so that we may be able to find out kung meron na tayong variant. Ako, ang paniniwala ko, just like Dr. Anthony Fauci, kung hindi na-announce to earlier ni Boris Johnson, September pa pala, retroactively, meron na rin yan in other countries of the world. Kasi hindi naman perfect ang system natin na madadiagnose natin ang bawat isang pasyenteng na merong variant. And this is the problem buong mundo ngayon kasi as they face right now the vaccination, dadami ang cases because of the transmissibility. Pero
Mm.
pareho pa rin naman ang dapat gagawin natin. Mas vigilant lang tayo and more intensive in terms of protecting ourselves in wearing the face mask and face shield and observing health protocols.
Okay. Matanong ko naman, maiba ako ng tanong, Doc Tony. What about the vaccines? I'm sure you heard my conversation with Congressman Rufus Rodriguez. I was kind of surprised when I heard in the news that the DOH already entered into a purchase agreement with a Chinese vaccine manufacturer,
Sinovac.
Sinovac. Sabi ko, paano nangyari yun? Parang hindi pa yata nabigyan ng approval ng FDA dito, nagkapirmahan na sila. I'm presuming because of timelines and how long it takes. And yet, nung una tayong nakikipag-deal sa Pfizer, sabi nga ni Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin, somebody dropped the ball. Ano ba ito? We failed to get vaccines or na-delay. Serious delay yung purchase natin sa Pfizer. But while all of that was happening, someone was already dealing with Sinovac.
Well, I'm disturbed as well, no? I think Senator Lacson description, he's mystified because ang Sinovac is more expensive than Pfizer and Astra. Number two, ang efficacy rate niya variable. In Brazil, it's 50% and it's 90% in Turkey. While the efficacy rate of Pfizer is 95% and Astra is about 70 to 90%. And then ang number three reason, wala siyang emergency use authorization approval in the big countries of the world like European Union and the USA. Meron lang siya sa China and then eventually siguro because naka-order ka na magkakaroon sa Philippines. These are very important selection guidelines, no? Kasi kung wala siyang regulatory documents na EUA from the established market, that may pose right now a question among Filipinos kung mababa ang acceptability rate natin, 25% in terms of vaccination. And then here you are, ang order ng government is a Chinese vaccine na hindi pa nagagamit in established market, paano mo mabu-boost up yung immunity? Kasi napaka-importante yan sa market survey, kaya nagma-market survey ang mga kumpanya para
Yeah.
malaman nila on how to push the product. Sa akin, I'm really surprised na naka-order tayo without EUA, and then presently walang application ng EUA sa atin. And then number 4, wala tayong EUA in established market. Medyo
Yung pong
mahirapan ng konti.
mga kaibigan, yung sinasabi po ni Doc Tony, what Doc Tony Leachon is referring to is the emergency use authorization. This is a government waiver given to private companies authorizing them to introduce their product because of the urgent need, but also based on the presumption that certain historical facts or reliability has been established. Kumbaga, meron namang pagbabatayan na okay yung produkto, minadali nga lang yung pagpapa-release kasi kailangan na. Pero hindi po ito yung political will, lalabas mo lang yung EUA. May batayan pong scientific. Now, Doc Tony, may I know from you, because I'm not a doctor and I really don't want to fall into this fake news trap. But do you know of any legitimate, dependable, and scientific studies that have been conducted on the side effects of this Sinovac baka mo yun?
Yeah, well, maraming kumalat sa internet lately about the side effect. In fact, there's one in Taiwan. Pero I did not comment on Twitter and Facebook kasi hindi verifiable eh. Kasi ang mga side effects kasi based on my experience, sinusulat yan in a journal. And then since Chinese siya, hindi mo alam kung accurate yung translation. So sabi ko sa mga friends ko and then some readers, I cannot comment on that. Unang-una kasi hindi natin alam, tina-translate yan dapat eh. And then sinusulat yan. And then nire-report yan sa FDA. para
Oh,
sabihin
what?
mong safe.
Oh, yeah. You said that the clinical trials were done in Brazil, right? What do you have any feedback from those trials?
Well, all I know is that yung sa Brazil, hindi nila dinisclose after na may findings na 50% efficacy rate. Diyan nga na-criticize na bakit hindi finally disclose. Yung sa Turkey, 91%. But I have yet to see the papers published na nakikita natin sa Twitter or even sa Facebook. Wala, I don't have the documents to say na gaano ka-safe to. But of course, the other day, I had a discussion with Dr. Edsel Salbanya,
Yeah.
a technical advisor. Sabi niya, Doktor, okay na tong Sinovac, na-review na. Kaya lang, sabi ko, can you share the paper? Ngayon, sabi ko, how can you push something na ang baba ng efficacy rate, umorder ang government, okay naman siya. Sabi niya, the only way is that the government leaders magpapa-inject ng Sinovac. Like, let's say, si Pope Francis, and then si Queen Elizabeth, si Joe Biden. Now, if you want to push Sinovac, di ba ang challenge ni Senator Bongo kay Secretary Galvez and Secretary Duque in order to boost up the confidence and the trust on vaccination kasi mababa nga yung sito 25% lang of the population ang gusto magpabakuna, and then in order ng gobyerno ay Sinovac. Parang ang hirap nung i-push unless otherwise yung gobyerno mismo,
Yeah,
mga
but
leaders ang magpapakuna.
let's stay to the science, okay? Kasi yung alam mo yung mga press release, yung mga confidence building. I mean, ano lang yan pagalingan na lang yan sa PR Pero yung sabi mong 50% efficacy rate. I mean, in real terms, kung ikaw ako magpabakuna ng 50%, what does that mean in survival, resistance to the disease? Kasi sa 95%, I'm presuming na hindi ako tatamaan nung COVID-19 or the variant. But at 50%, what are the chances na malulusutan tayo ng COVID-19 or the variant?
No, well, in fairness to the government, ito naman minention naman ng DOST na before before the vaccines na-develop, at least ang expectation lang nila ay 50%. They're happy at least with the 50%. Ngayon, nakaswerte tayo na meron tayong dalawang 95%, that is Pfizer and Moderna. And then ang Astra, you have 70 to 90%. Ako naman bilang doktor, if you were given a choice, siyempre doon ka doon sa efficacy rate na mataas. At kahit minimum yung requirement na natanggap natin with the 50% na Sinovac, it's logical for any doctor to choose kung ano mas powerful niya for the patient. So kung ito at may choice ang taong bayan, I will choose something na mataas sa efficacy rate. Kasi ito 50% parang toss coin yan either effective siya or efficacy. Though sinasabi na magkaiba efficacy, effectiveness. Nandun naman ako In the real world nilagay mo 50%, of occasion 60%. Pero ang Pfizer, let's say 95%, it could go 100%. Mataas pa rin yung kanyang latitude for improvement kasi nandun sa 90% So what I'm saying, may choices ka in the market, the higher ang efficacy rate. So why will you order something na mababa ang efficacy rate? Just because nakapasok siya sa minimum standards. At the time na
Pero,
mababa rin yung
well,
vaccination rate mo.
Doc Tony, let's go for a quick break. And when we come back, I mean, what puzzles me is we're paying more for a product that is less. Okay, we'll go for a quick break, Doc Tony. And when we return, pakisagot mo nga yan kasi ikaw mismo nagsabi that they're more expensive. How much more expensive? We'll go for a quick break here on Agenda. Okay, we're back here on agenda, and let's go back to Doc Tony Leachon. Doc Tony, you were saying that the Sinovac vaccine is more expensive than Pfizer and AstraZeneca?
Yes, this we got from the office of Senator Sani Angara. Pinost to sa Twitter account. Ang Sinovac is 3,629. Total price for 2 doses, so divide by 2 is about parang 1,007 or 1,008 kasi 3,600.
Yeah.
And then ang Pfizer, 2,379, 2 doses. Ibig sabihin 1,100 per dose. Ang Astra, 610, 2 doses. So lumalabas parang 300 pesos lang yung Astra. So efficacy rate of Sinovac is 50%, ang Pfizer at 95% na look at this 1,008 per dose yung Sinovac at 50%, Pfizer 1,100 per dose at 95%, AstraZeneca 70 to 90% efficacy rate at 300 pesos. So ibig sabihin mas sulit kang di hamak dun sa dalawang produkto produced by world-class R&D companies kung tutuusin. And then dito tayo nagtataka ngayon on the government preference for Sinovac, considering yung world-class vaccines. Though meron naman tayo sa AstraZeneca deal, no? Pero of course yung Pfizer, ito yung order din ng ibang kumpanya. I think Manila is ordering for Pfizer. That's why today nag-sign ng resolution si Mayor Isko to order for cold chain facilities. Kasi ang ibig sabihin nito mga kababayan, kung mataas yung efficacy rate mo, the triggering of the immune response will be, of course, better. Kasi mataas yung efficacy rate mo, yung antibody response mo, mas mataas. Pangalawa, there are reports that using the messenger RNA can address the new strain. Kasi synthetic version ito. Nilabas na tong press release na to about a week ago. According to the CEO of Pfizer and the Moderna, itong kanilang bakuna can address the new strain. So,
Yeah, I actually just read about it. But ang tanong, kasi gustong ma-follow up lang nung news group namin, how did Doc Salvana justify the government's decision to get Sinovac?
Well, it's just in passing where I was making rounds at Manila doctors and then sinabi niya na Sinovac yung siguro next week. I think the balita na last night ni Secretary
Yeah, last
Duque.
night. Oh.
So sabi ko, good luck. Medyo mababa yung efficacy rate niyan. Sabi ko, how do you intend to boost up the vaccination rate considering ganito efficacy rate? Ang sabi niya sa akin, I think the leaders should be the ones, leadership by example, magpapa-inject sila to boost up. Sabi ko, it's more than that kasi
Pero wala silang binanggit na scientific commercial basis kasi parang ang hirap go ahead.
Meron siyang binanggit, but I'm not privy to that. Siguro ilalabas nila anytime kasi kagabi lang naman they would not approve that kasi ang rota niya na Cito, it will go through the vaccine expert panel.
Yeah.
And then it will go to the ethics committee, then it will go to the FDA. So apparently, may sinabit na ngayon sa vaccine expert panel. Siguro nakuha na nila yung Brazil and Turkey studies and for them to approve it and then notch a deal with them. But I am not privy to those articles or journals submitted to the vaccine expert panel.
But regardless of what you submit, if at the end of the day your efficacy is bottom 50% and your price is almost double that of AstraZeneca, actually more than double the ilang beses yun, 200-300% more and almost double of Pfizer. Parang ang hirap i-justify nun. Is the justification simply because wala tayong masyadong makukuha in order to build up the requirement? Or is it because we need a selection, a menu of vaccines? Kasi kayo yung doktor, may nagsabi sa akin from the expert panels of vaccines na ganun yung approach nila. They need to get different vaccines from different countries in order to put together the bundle.
Actually, yung sinabi mong first, at that time, dahil hindi pa approve ang Astra, I think that was the first significant reason dahil wala na tayong makukuha. Pero with the launch of Astra about 3 weeks ago, December 30, ibang dynamics na to. Kaya kita mo lahat ng LGU ngayon, I think 80% ang kinuha nila ay AstraZeneca. So it puts a different dynamics right now that still the government ordered for Sinovac instead of increasing the number of the Astra order. Yung aking tingin, Sito, I would have abandoned it or reduced it. And then ang bilhin ko na lang yung Astra kung value for money ang pag-uusapan. Tapos pataas-taas pa yung efficacy rate.
Kasi yung sa Astra, halos bigay na lang nila because they provide
Non-profit.
non-profit.
Non-profit yun. Non-profit yun.
Oo.
At cost lang talaga yun. Mhm.
Okay. Akala ko best friend natin si China hindi pala. In any case, yung Kobo Box, kasi kagabi ko lang nadinig itong Kobo Box
Yeah.
kamusta naman yan? Yung Kobo, India, because you know,
It's the greatest vaccine manufacturer in the world, and Covomax, Serum Institute ng bakuna. Mura yan at kapitag-pitaga naman yung kumpanyang yan. At isa yan sa kino-consider natin. Ako, I would vouch for that, no. Tapos gagamitin din yan ng World Health Organization at saka Alliance. So I'm all for that. In fact, ako naman ay advisor ni Mayor Joy. I think makikipag-usap din sila sa Covamax. I think I would support that. Ni-review ko na yung profile niyan and I think it's
Okay.
good.
You mentioned Mayor Joy Belmonte. You are a consultant or advisor dyan sa Quezon City. What's the situation in terms of an LGU trying to buy these vaccines? Kasi right now, you're talking to them. I don't know if the word negotiating is the right term, but meron bang mga balakid, meron bang mga nagpapahaba, red tape, or bureaucratic delay para ma-fast track? Kasi yun ang usapan namin kanina ni Congressman Rufus na kailangan ma-fast track to because every day people die.
Oo, tama yun. My role is to link them up with my former contacts and then provide them with the scientific papers. Wala silang problema. Mabilis ang action. So when they ink the deal with Astra, I think 2 araw lang sila nag-usap, okay na. I think they're going to talk also, I think with Pfizer as well, and then with Johnson and Johnson, yung single dose. At then Covamax, ito yung binanggit mo. So, I think tama yun kasi ang panuntunan nila, which narinig nyo naman sa press release niya, we want a vaccine for Quezon City residents na magandang efficacy at saka safety. Number 2, we want the products launched in established market na walang masasabi ang Quezon City residents that we are giving them vaccines na hindi binibigay in the best countries of the world.
Okay, quick na lang, Tony, kasi naubusan tayo ng
sure.
oras. I have a short
Sure.
program now. How do you determine who gets what vaccine sa Quezon City? Kasi sa dami ng bakuna, ano ba yan? Bahala na kung saan ma-distribute or meron niyang matching?
Meron they will follow the priority list of Secretary Galvez, healthcare workers, senior citizens, and then the essential workers at saka yung mga with comorbid condition. Yan yung first group. Ang unahin muna healthcare workers. Ulitin ko po
So depende na lang kung ano yung vaccine na nandoon. Kasi ang tanong ko is whether Pfizer goes to the AB, AstraZeneca goes to the middle class, yung ganun. So kung ano yung dumating, Basta unahin yung
Oo,
nasa listahan.
tama yan. Multiple order sila, pero para hindi mangamba yung Quezon City, makakasiguro sila on efficacy and safety.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Doc Tony. That's all the time we have today. Short programs na kami. We're trying to shift back to normal programming. Okay, thank you very much. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was our talk with Doc Tony Leachon. Very informative as always. And sana po, mag-ingat kayo. Please stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, social distance, wash your hands, etc., etc. You know the drill. Stay alive. And in 2021, God bless all of you.